And what you want to do is you want to take down these notes on a piece of paper. Yes, write them out. And follow along with the calculations. Anything that you don't understand or that it's not clear from this explanation, you have to write down that question. And it's going to be part of the homework, writing down the questions that you don't understand. Bring it to class and then we can discuss it. This is practice because I already showed you previously how to solve a matrix multiplication problem. So let's say that you have two matrices. You have a matrix that contains these entries, and you want to multiply this matrix by this one. So the first matrix is 2 rows and it has 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2. And the second matrix also has 2 rows and 2 columns, and it's a 2 by 2. So the first thing you need to do is you need to check whether you can multiply these. And what you do is you look at these numbers, because this tells you the number of columns that the first matrix has, and this one tells you the number of rows. And because they are the same name, yes, you can multiply them. What is your product matrix going to look like? This is the product, which is the result of multiplying 2 numbers, or in this case 2 matrices. Your product matrix is going to be this size, the 2 outside numbers. It just happens to be a 2 by 2. So now you know that you're looking for 4 numbers in for your product matrix. So you're going to focus on this first number right here. And this first number is located in the first row and the first column. So you're going to work with the first row and the first column. And you're going to say 0 times 6 plus 2 times 3. And you're going to get 6. And that's what goes in here. This number right here is in the second row, first column. So you will work with the second row and with the first column. How are you going to get the value of this number? You're going to multiply the corresponding number. So it's going to be -2 times 6 plus -5 times 3. And you work this out in your calculator, and you're going to get -12 plus -15, which I'll have to do the calculation on the side. -27. This value is -27. Now to get this number right here, and as I'm pointing to it, it's going to be the first row, but now it's in the second column. So we'll be working with the first row and the second column. To get the value of the number, you have to do this: 0 times -6 plus 2 times 0. And I'm trying to put little check marks so that you can see which numbers it is that I'm working with. And all of this is basically a 0. Now to get the last number, it's going to be the second row and the second column. So you'll be working with the second row and the second column. And to calculate the value, you just work with the numbers. So it'll be -2 times -6 plus -5 times 0. And that's going to be 12 plus a -5. It'll be 7. -2, -3, yeah, it's 7. And that's the value that goes in here. Alright, I'm going to do one more, and I'm definitely going to do this just a little bit faster, just to make sure that you get the practice that you need. Make sure that you're writing down these examples and you're following along. One of the things that you can do is that you can, after I write down the 2 matrices, you can pause it and you can go ahead and work it out on your own and see, once you're done, play the Pencast again and see if I solve it the same way that you did. And it'll be a good check to see whether you're doing it correctly. Now, go ahead and, if you're going to do that, go ahead and pause the Pencast right now and solve the problem, okay? Alright, if you decided to pause it, you're probably back now after you've pressed play. And the first thing I would do to make sure that I can multiply this matrix. So I would look at the dimensions of the first matrix, and I see 2 rows and 3 columns. So this one is a 2 by 3. And I look at the dimensions of the second matrix, and I see that it has 3 rows and 2 columns. So I check. These numbers are the same, so yes, I can multiply them. My product matrix is going to be a 2 by 2. So I'm looking for these 4 numbers. My first number is in row 1, column 1. So I'm working with row 1, column 1, and it's going to be 5 times negative 4 plus 3 times negative 3 plus 5 times 3. And that's going to be a minus 14. Go ahead and put a minus 14. The second number is in row 2, column 1. So I'll be working with row 2, column 1. That's just already circled. And working with the numbers is going to be 1 times negative 4 plus 5 times negative 3 plus 0 times 3. And that gives you a negative 19. Now I'm going to solve for this number, and this number is in row 1, column 2. So I will be working with row 1 and column 2. So I'm going to combine those numbers. It'll be 5 times 2 plus 3 times 4 plus 5 times negative 5. And when you type all of that into your calculator, you should get a negative 3. So this one is a negative 3. And to solve for the last number, it's going to be row 2, column 2. So I'll be working with row 2, column 2. So it'll be 1 times 2 plus 5 times 4 plus 0 times negative 5. And if you type that into your calculator, you should get a 17. So the answer is a 2 by 2 matrix with these entries. Right, there we go. All right, great job.